Okay, Rod, we're standing here in the grounds of the Headland Hotel on Fistral Beach with the Cribbar in the background. Tell us about when you rode the Cribbar and how you discovered it.
Well, Cribbar wasn't just the first break that I surfed, not only here but in Australia. I grew up in Australia and we were doing surfing trips from 1958. And one of the first people that I met that really impressed me was Bob Head, who was a lifeguard at Avalon Beach. Well, when I immigrated to America in 1964, Bob Head came to Cornwall and was brought surfing here by the fact that he brought a Malibu board here in '62. And when I returned from America to Britain, because this is my homeland, I reunited with Bob, who was lifeguarding here at Fistral, and we both looked at the Cribbar, and he'd been watching it for a couple of years. And I looked at it and filmed it for the first time in 16mm, and we both said, this is going to be surfable. Well, almost a year went by till or the end of that year came up in September when he was due to go home after a 3-year stint here, and it was my first year, and he came to Come Surf with me, the final film show of Come Surf with me at St Michael's Hall. And he came back to my place, which was over the dentist that overlooked town, and we got absolutely blotto on gin, whiskey and port and you name it, and crashed out, having had a fantastic packed house film show and a final end. All the lifeguards were going home and that was the end of it. Jack Lidgate had come along to the film show. He was lifeguard at Watergate Bay. Well, in the morning I woke up early and I pulled the blinds back, and I could see that town was absolutely pumping. It was offshores. It was about 8 to 10 foot in town. So I've got a hell of a headache. So I thought, well, I'll just go for a walk. So about 5 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, I walked from town out to the headland, out to the lookout. And I'm looking at this absolute perfect Cribbar breaking at 20 foot, absolute glass with light offshores. And I think, God, this is the day that I can surf it. So I go back to the flat, get Bob and say, look, Cribbar is breaking, we can surf it, it's possible. He says, ring up Jack Lidgate. So I ring up Jack Lidgate. He says, yeah, I'll come out. I'm not going to surf it, but I'll watch you guys. And Bob Head says, yeah, look, I'll act as your lifeguard. So with those two guys, we came to Little Fistral, we waxed up, and we paddled out here through a humongous 10 to 15 foot shore dump, but the rip was just steaming out. I was out first, and those guys were going to be on lookout for me. And sure enough, the waves were coming in sets of 3 about every 10 to 15 minutes. It was easy glass perfection, and although it was 20 foot, it was the most perfect ride you could ever imagine. So I paddled way out to Cribbar, way out on the furthest peak, and took off on a huge A-frame green wall that just glided in perfectly, turning left and right, until it finally broke and I went under the peak and off on the shoulder and went, woo! The guys were on the inside, they're all going, yay, unbelievable. I paddled out again. I couldn't see what they were doing. They were nearly getting caught on the inside section. It was breaking in 2. It was the peak outside and a reform in the inside. Now the 2 lifeguards were the type of surfers that like late takeoffs. And Jack Lidgate took off, wiped out, got smashed, and we had to take him to hospital. Bob Head caught a couple of waves where he went a short way down the drop across and kicked out, nearly crashing into the rocks. I caught 3 or 4 more really classic rides of about 20 feet, but just on the shoulder. One just came like that as I went through, and I made it out, and I thought, that's it. You know, we've come close enough, and we all paddled in through just on the edge of the rip, having to actually ride the shore break that was a kneel down job. That's how big it was. And we made it to the beach, and just, that's it. We did it.